Hey, what's up? It's Alan Maldonado. Alongside of me is the great Coach Dave Miller. Here we are in Manhattan Beach Studios. Man, how you feeling today, Coach?
Is there any better place, to come? You have a long drive. I could walk here.
But it's worth it.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
We got this great set. And you know what? It's another lovely day in L.A.
Yes, it is. Lakerland is very, very, very happy. Great game last night against the Jazz. We're going to talk about the elephant in the room. LeBron is back. But let's just start with the game. How did you think about the game overall?
Well, I was really excited. LeBron went through that as a regular game day, shoot around, nap, get to the game, get into the weight room. He followed his process that he's followed his whole career. And it was really a game time decision. He didn't feel good. He wasn't going to go. So to see him come out and start year number 23. I always thought about Vince Carter. Vince Carter went 22, and I thought, will anybody ever get past that? Because Father Time is going to get you sooner or later,
undefeated.
Alan. And we all know that watching the Black Mamba.
Yeah.
With the Achilles and finishing that thing out with a bang with that last game that we'll never forget. But to see the excitement in LeBron's eyes, it was almost like he was rejuvenated.
Did you see that same excitement in Kobe that last season?
Yeah, because he knew he knew it was coming to an end, and he knew he wanted to go out Black Mamba style.
Yeah.
And he never really said anything, but you saw it in his eyes. Yeah. I haven't seen that in LeBron because we don't know when he's going to stop.
Right.
But I know this. There was a twinkle like it was back maybe, in high school in AAU, because he sat there for the first. He's never missed the start of a season.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
High school.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And the guys were excited. That was the other thing, man. There was a twinkle. And it's crypto.com. I like to call it Staples Center.
It was a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Listen, we scored 140 points. LeBron is back. How do you think that happened?
Well, we're going to get into it. We're going to dice this thing up.
Yeah.
But, you look at 140 points and you say, okay, well, you got the all-time leading scorer in the regular season and the playoffs. You don't have to be a brain surgeon to figure that out. Then you look at Luka. Luka right now is in the top 4 easily of MVP for the league.
Correct.
Okay. Then you add Austin Reaves, who is an all-star. Okay, even if his numbers drop, they'd have to drop dramatically. But you see the numbers he put up, the 50 pieces, the 40 pieces, averaging 32, 33, whatever it was that he's averaging. So you have those two guys, and now you add a guy with maybe one of the top 5 basketball IQs to ever play the game. And when you break it down, I was kind of worried at the start. It was 16-6, and I brought a producer with me from when I was on Time Warner when I covered the Lakers every day. And Roman and I are sitting there, and it's 16-6, and we're like, But when we looked out there, and he knows basketball, he's got a mind like you and like me. It's crazy how he sees the game like we do, and. They were almost on eggshells, LeBron included. Like, nobody wanted to step on each other's toes, as opposed to all the Laker haters, right? Whether you're a Laker fan or you're just a Laker hater going, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to fit. How many times did you hear? We talked about it. The chemistry isn't going to be there. And that's 16-6. And really, for the most part of that first half.
I was going to say that. They were pretty tight this first half.
Yeah, they were trying not to outdo each other.
So what did you think the coach said at halftime to sort of change the momentum or change the energy for the second half? As you've seen, they probably was playing it a little too safe the first half. What do you think? What do you think JJ said?
The first thing I think he said, it again, we don't have stat sheets here, but I think he said, we just gave them 71 points in the half. What the hell?
Jazz.
What the hell? Well, the Jazz that is down there. But the Jazz is a difficult team to play because they move, they cut, and that's like their strength and the Lakers' weakness defensively, which we saw in that first half. Is getting lost off ball, laying on screens, not being proactive. They're being reactive, not being as athletic. That's the one thing those first 14 games showed to me without LeBron, is that this team on any given night could be out athleticized. And I don't even know if that's a proper sentence or word, but that's what we do as coaches.
Athleticized.
You know, out athleticized. I know all my teachers in college that will be watching this be like, what did he just say?
Yeah. That's a real phrase.
But they lack in athleticism, you know, that some of these younger teams have with this length and that can cover ground. But, you know, I just think they settled down. But, you know, they came out and the ball moved in the second half. You know, LeBron James and Luca were in the post and they were playmaking, because you have two dynamic playmakers that emerged in those first 14 games, Luca and Austin Reaves. Now you add a third playmaker, but LeBron doesn't need the ball in his hands. I said this in the first or second episode, I believe. I want to see, like I used to tell Kobe when we would just be BSing. I didn't coach him. We just talked hoops all the time, you know, after practice, walking out to the parking lot. And it's like, I'm like, you could be your most effective from the free throw line below. Well, all of a sudden we see LeBron posting, we see Luca posting. And now they're a threat. And what do you want? You want the double to come. At one point in that game, there were 4 guys converged on LeBron in the paint when he was just spraying out passes, right, to the strong side, but more importantly to the weak side, because he sucked all the defenders in. And then you got Luca, who's unselfish. It was just, LeBron has always been criticized for playing the right way when we talked about him not being clutch and not taking the shot that MJ or Kobe would take. But that's just how LeBron plays. And I just saw I didn't see rust. He made point like I missed a couple gimmies in there and I was rusty. No, it wasn't rusty. That was wind.
So since you were there last night, I wasn't. So we gonna figure that out. But
well, no, next game we're going together.
Y'all heard that? You heard next game I'm pulling up.
You heard.
So how was the excitement in crypto, like this being his first game back? How was the excitement in the arena?
It was just great. It's been great because they've been rewarding that team for playing hard. They're rewarding that team for being 10-4 before LeBron came in those 14 games. So there was just an excitement to see their superstar. And you just don't know how long it's, you know, is this his last year? He could retire. Is this his last year? Could he take his talent somewhere else? You know, you just don't know. But I think, you know, he's got to cherish every time he goes out on the floor. And I know Laker fans are going to cherish him every time he goes out on the floor. And there was just an excitement from the tip. And at the end of the game, when the confetti and the streamers fell, I mean, it sort of felt playoff-like. And they got excited because they were sharing the ball. You know, it reminded me how Tex Winters used to always yell and scream at practice, move the ball, get it from the strong side to the weak side to inside, skip it back. And they were just making the extra pass. And I really believe that when you share the wealth, when you move the rock, the ball finds the open shots. And because of the attention that LeBron draws, because of the attention that Luca draws, he's going to make others better.
And speaking of that, with LeBron returning, who do you think benefits the most?
Well, before I answer that question, let's just look at this. Luca had an off game, and you always say, well, when Luca has a bad game, that's a great game for others. You know, I mean, Luca did not shoot the ball well from three. Again, no stat sheets, and it wasn't one of his better games. AR, his numbers were down, obviously, because LeBron was there, and he played well. But the guys, it was the bench. The bench really impressed me. And, you know, I think number one, let's start off with DeAndre Ayton. He made DeAndre Ayton 20 and 10. You know, we've been talking about that. His numbers, want him to have a double-double. But he just made it easy. When LeBron draws that multiple defender, he's got 2 or 3 on him. You got to be ready for the pass. And the smiles that I saw in person, you know, like we were texting and we were talking. It's like the players were smiling, laughing, and you don't see that in a regular season game. But DA definitely is going to benefit, and he's not a lob threat. No offense. He'll get it. But I thought a couple times what he did really well is he caught the ball, and we call it catch it high, keep it high, finish high. He had 1 or 2 where he dropped it.
I hear Shaq say the applied metrics or something like that. Is that what it's called or something?
Yeah,
Okay.
I get it. Shaq's got so many degrees. Shaq's got a PhD. Shaq's a doctor. Shaq knows the game. He teaches the game, and Shaq knows.
Yeah.
I'll just say, palms of the passer, target hands, and if you're a guard or you're a big, and you see the front of the jersey and you see those target hands, get your big the ball, because when you can feed the big and you get your bigs off, or even power forwards or small forwards on an advantage, you demand that when it's one-on-one, you go to work. When you draw, and you can only go to work so many times, right? Because now it's got to be an adjustment. Now we get into rotations, and that's what you want when you have willing, skilled passers. And that's what this team has in Luca. They have it in AR, and they have it in LeBron, man. LeBron had 12 assists and 1 turnover in 29 minutes. That's crazy.
Yeah. In his first game back.
That's crazy. Yeah, there was no damn rust.
Yeah,
I told you.
Yeah.
And I'm telling Laker Nation. It was the cardio, and he caught a second and third win. I saw that.
Yeah.
You could appreciate that. What's it like when you're running? You run marathons all over the country. Have you run one outside of the country?
Yes, I've ran in Berlin.
Okay, so what's it like when and I'm not a runner.
Yeah.
I swim every day. But what's it like when you hit that wall, or you hit a wall and you want to stop? Is there a burning in your chest, and how do you get through that?
Oh man, you definitely get a second win. It's all mental at that particular point. Marathons is not a fitness thing; it's more of a mental challenge. So I think at that particular point in the game, you're leaning on adrenaline. You're leaning on all of that, and I think that's where that second and third sort of win comes from, especially when you have been away from the game. And I think that's what you saw. And also, just I think LeBron, just being a student of the game and a master of the art, I just think he can average 12, 13 assists blindfolded.
Well, no question. When he's in that facilitator mode, you know what I thought was interesting is everybody thought he hadn't played for 14 games. He's going to be rusty. He was at practice. He didn't go on the road trips.
Right.
Okay, but that's because he was here practicing with the G League, and before he had clearance to go 5-on-5, he's working with his people. He spends $1 million a year. On his body. And that's an investment. He's got his own team that take care of his body. But he wasn't on vacation. He wasn't in Cancun. If he was at home, he was watching those games on his couch after he probably spent, I wouldn't say, I don't believe you can. Guy says, well, I worked out today for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Bullshit. If you work out basketball-wise, if you can make a 45-minute, hour, 15-minute, workout, game speed. Were you in the gym? Were you in the facility? And this isn't LeBron or Kobe, because Kobe would get different workouts throughout the day. It's impossible to work out. Yeah, like I hear dads tell me, well, my kid worked out 6 hours yesterday. I'm like, what are you smoking? Right? You don't work out for 6 hours.
So I guess that's a great kind of question as far as in speaking of coaching your own kids, like how is there a thing of overtraining from your experience? Okay.
Yeah. You get in the gym, you go through some individual skill work, and hopefully when you do your workouts, you've got 2 or 3 kids, right? So you can at least go one-on-one. Sometimes I like 4, because then you can go from your individual work to your skill work to your one-on-one when you're working defense, and then 2-on-2, jump into the ball, shrink in the operational zone.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you want to get in your individual work. With LeBrons and pros, you're getting in there to the weight room and stretching. You're putting an hour of working in, trying to fire up whatever you fire up in your quads, your hip flexors, your knees. It's a science.
Yeah.
And most coaches, truth be told, we don't know anything about that.
Gotcha.
That's why you have trainers. That's why you have people with PhDs in kinesiology, and motor and biomechanics. I'm not going to make stuff up like Shaq and just and I could, but no, you get in and you out, and then anything you do has to be game speed, unless you're doing form shooting, right? Form shooting, like I'm going to break a tape down. When JJ Redick was with the Clippers, I was sitting front row for a game as a fan, and he came out, and I watched his routine, and it's like the same. Routines don't change. This isn't solving world hunger, like I said.
Yeah.
There's into right hand pound, left hand pound, one bounce with 2 balls, pistons with 2 balls, left leg around the right leg with the right hand constant. There's all that kind of stuff that you can do. But that's just to warm up. you can't get better unless you go game speed and you're going against somebody. You can shoot 1,000 jump shots, but unless you have game speed and then you put contesting in there, you're not trying to block a shot or foul a guy, but you have to make it game-like or it doesn't translate. So, you know what I mean? Like to work out a kid, 45 minutes. Hour max.
Got you.
You know,
and speaking of kids, let's talk about Bronny. He got some minutes late in the game. How was the excitement of the fans in the arena anytime Bronny gets on the floor?
Well, I'm sitting there with Roman, and we're watching this game, and I mean the game's over, and we're like, okay, when are they going to get the stars out?
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, you got your run. I was surprised LeBron got the 29 minutes. I thought it would be cut off at 25. I hadn't heard there was a minute restriction.
Right.
But, you know, and if the game would have been closer, I reckon he would have played longer. They would have finished the game. But we were like, when is he going to take these guys out? Because you don't want to overdo it, and not just LeBron. And then all of a sudden we say that, and boom, then they come out. Yeah. And, you know, Bronny needs to shoot the ball more.
I've seen the clip go viral of JJ screaming at him to shoot the ball.
Okay. If you're open, you know, when you're open sometimes and you don't shoot it, that's like a turnover because it's such a wide open shot. Not just Bronny, but when you're open, you got to have the confidence to take that shot because sometimes you won't get a better look.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like when a guy turns down a shot because he wants to get his jab on and he wants to spin and be like a weeble wobble and don't fall down. Are you too young to know what weeble wobble?
I know what weeble wobble is.
Okay, yeah, because you've done a lot of kids shows and kids movies. Like usually the first shot is better than the one you can create.
Right.
Whether it's kids, whether it's NBA players, I've always taught you get 3 dribbles to get your move on. If you can't make a dribble and get to the hole in 3 dribbles or make a 1-2 dribble pull up because you beat your man, quit pounding the leather off the ball, man. Players with 3 dribbles, do your thing. If not, get off it, pass, cut, screen away, blah, blah, blah.
So what would you say to Bronny as far as from a coach's perspective to get him to shoot more? What would you do? What would you say? What were some experiences you had as a coach with a player that you needed to really get them confident with their jump shot?
Easy. I'll pretend it's you. I'm yelling at you. And now that I didn't see it, but the viral thing was, I think, shoot the effing ball. If that's what you're talking about. I haven't seen it.
Yes.
The first time it's your bad. The second time I let you do it, it's my bad. The third time I would tell you, the next time you turn down an open shot, I'm taking you out of the game.
Oh, I'm shooting, pulling.
Yeah. Good shot.
I'm pulling.
Right. This would be a wide open shot. So what more? You don't have to. You don't really yell and curse at guys anymore. That's old school NBA. You know, every once in a while, you'll let a word come out that that needs to be. We all do that. You do it at home. You can't. It's what's great. You can't really do that at work if there's human resources. You can't walk in. In the bank and yell something as a teller, and I almost yelled it and made it slip and didn't hear about it because it would have been funny. But there's no HR of what you say, but there's no reason to scream and yell. Next time you don't shoot the ball. I'm not going to out the player, and I won't tell you if it's NBA or college, but we had a 7-footer and he was we'll just say he was a transfer or he could have been traded. Every time he would catch the ball in the exhibition games underneath the basket, he would turn to pass it out. And he never looked at the basket to score. And I'm talking point blank shots. So the head coach called timeout and said, blah, 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 blah. What's wrong? Why aren't you shooting the ball? He says, well, where I came from, they didn't want me to shoot the ball. They wanted me to kick it out on the perimeter to an open shooter.
Oh, wow.
And the head coach looked at me and said, the next time you catch the ball from point blank to 5 feet and you don't shoot the ball, I'm taking you out of the game. And then he started shooting the ball because he knew that head coach was going to take it out. So, but listen, with Bronny, you're just happy to get the run. You're just happy to get in. He had a great pass, almost like his dad. Because I'm going to tell you, I saw LeBron play. When I watched Kobe play, it was always MJ. Right until Kobe took over, the torch was passed. Then people wanted, everyone wanted to play like Mike. Then everyone wanted to play like Kobe. But there was so many things that Kobe did that were Michael-esque.
Right.
Last night, I've always thought it a little bit, but last night, LeBron played Magic-esque.
Come on, you're talking about the God MC, Magic.
Yeah. Those passes he made, the no looks and the smiles. like the Showtime Lakers had, and just that one dish when he came down the lane and it was underhand.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was Magic-esque, and it really brought me back to the days of being at the Forum and watching the passes and guys running it. And it was the joy that he played with. It was the ability for him to get all the naysayers out of his mind, like thinking he was going to come in. And that was, I think he only had 7. Again, don't have stats. We got to get stats. We need sponsors. We need sponsors. I mean, I came in and we had to set up today. We only have 1 camera. We usually have 3 cameras. I just didn't have time. I do have a day job. Okay. And this studio is great, by the way. Just a quick shout out to Mark, who runs Manhattan Beach Studios.
That's right.
Would love it. But it's like he only had 7 shots, but he had the 12 assists, 11
he was 11
points,
12. Mm-hmm.
and the 3 rebounds. And the rebounds could have been better, but that's winded. That's a fatigue factor, right? You know, and you got easy. I
mean, it's LeBron Hocus Pocus James. That's what I'm calling him. He ain't Magic, but it's Hocus Pocus. Is that close enough?
Let me say this. There'll never be a Magic.
Oh, I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
and I coached one of the best point guards to ever play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in Chris Paul in New Orleans, and when we got put in Oklahoma City. But when you think of the great point guards, Magic Johnson will always be the best point guard to ever play this game, based on his game, based on his leadership, based on being 6'9", based on knowing he was the first one to really know who's hot, who's not, who do I get the ball to, who do I don't get the ball to. And, you know, from what I'm able to ascertain, and I've become pretty good friends with all those Showtime Lakers because of my relationship coaching with Byron Scott. And, you know, Magic just told it like it is, and the guys respected that. The guys respected that. And then you look what he's done life after basketball. Yeah. Not just a leader on the court, but
just a champion all the way around.
And just a leader of men, a role model of how the game should be played, the Showtime, you know. Shout out to the late, great Dr. Buss, who it wasn't a game. It was an extravaganza. It wasn't an event. Yeah. It was an extravaganza. Yeah. They were there to entertain the entertainers of Hollywood, and then everybody else would follow. Yeah. I mean, think about that. And then with all these suites and these boxes and all the dance teams.
Oh, they had the club in there too.
Yeah, in the Forum Club. But I'm talking on the court. Yeah. That was it was an extravaganza. It was like going to a Vegas show before there were Vegas shows. Yeah. I mean, he revolutionized what the entertainment of the NBA.
So you think they should put the spotlight back on the court? Because remember, that's what they used to do in the Forum, where it was just lit. It was only lit on the court. Do you think that has something? Or
no,
has an effect?
I've never thought of that until you said it. But you know what? You haven't steered me wrong. This is going on the fifth episode that we're doing, the LeBron episode. Yeah, he's into it for his 23rd season.
Come on.
Okay, we're into it. 5 hours that I know you. Yeah. And you know what? Yeah. I like you leading. I'm gonna tell Magic. I haven't seen him since it started. Yeah. But I've talked to a couple Showtime Lakers since it started. Yeah. I'm gonna tell Magic, man, you know how to run the show when we come in here. You know how to steer this ship. You know how to reel me in.
I appreciate it.
And then you know how to get me off and get me going, just like Magic got. Like Magic knew who to get off early. Yes. Magic coming down the floor. Well, he's looking this way, he's looking that way, and then he's passing that way.
So with that being said, looking forward to the rest of the season. We got LeBron back. How do you see, us moving forward with him? And in speaking of working from the mid post, like, how do you think they're going to incorporate that more? Maybe more LeBron and Luca pick and roll. What do you think now that LeBron is back that he could implement more in the upcoming games?
Well, you hit the pick and roll, but I want to put 2 different people in that.
Okay.
I want to put Luca and Austin in that pick and roll. Okay. I like them in that pick and roll because then I like LeBron playing. Now he becomes the third facilitator in that group in the sense that a 4-on-3, a 3-on-2 on the backside, the attention that they draw to him. Yeah. Okay. And again, you could put any of those 3 in the pick and roll. You know what's crazy with those 3? You can put you could put Luca or you can put LeBron in the pick and roll, and either of it could initiate it. We talked about when I was at USC and we had Brian Scalabrine and we had Brandon Granville from Westchester High School. We inverted it. Sometimes, everyone thinks 1-5 pick and roll. It's Brandon Granville, 5'10", 5'11" point guard.
Right.
With Scalabrine, 6'9", coming up to set it.
Yeah.
We used to have Scalabrine bring the ball down the floor because they might deny Brandon. Because Brandon, man, was the brains of that operation. Told you we had 85-plus plays.
Right.
He knew every play. He's the coach on the floor. But so did Scal.
Come on.
So now Scal's coming down and he's running it, and then we wanted a switch.
Yeah.
That's what JJ does well. He puts his players in positions to win. And to say the second part of your question, you're going to put them in the low post. You can run some easy stuff to run them in the post. I love it when LuKa's coming off screens and moving it. We talked about the joy that LeBron had in his face. Luka at one point hit a shot and he started to dance. I don't know if it was the Macarena. I don't know what it was. There was a little bit of, I won't even go Mark Mattson. Shout out Mark Mattson, one of my favorite guys that I coached against in the Pac, the Mad Dog in the Pac-10. And then he was with the Lakers, when Time Warner took over. And that got moved up. He went from I don't know how long, I don't even know if he coached in the G League for a game. And then got moved up, moved up to the Lakers staff when he brought, he just brought championship experience and that work ethic. But no, this JJ does a great job of putting him in position. And now it's not about number one for LeBron, to answer your question. What does LeBron need to work on? The cardio. Because he hit the second and third, but he's got to get to and he will. That takes time. I don't believe in rust. He missed a shot or two. It wasn't rusty. It just wasn't fluid. He was winded. Okay. What I think this next 5 games come down to, I think we do them in blocks of 5. Now it's about the defense. I like the offense. Okay, the defense wasn't great. 16-6 start. The defense was proactive. And it's going to be that way because of foot speed, because of athleticism. But the 2 biggest things for this team to do what they want to do, and I don't know what that is. Nobody does. You can listen to everybody that thinks they do. The team doesn't know what they can do. You have to take it. It's not even game by game.
Got you.
It's not even practice by practice if you want to really go behind the closed doors. It's possession by possession. When LeBron got done on day 1 of practice, right, on Monday, he was hoarse. I wasn't at that practice, but you could hear him when he got interviewed. He said, my voice, because he was barking out instructions and coverages defensively. He was probably talking about getting people in position. So the key to this group with him back now is going to be defending and rebounding. Okay, I'm not worried about the offense because LeBron proved he doesn't need to take 25 shots. You know what's great? And again, I'm sitting there and I got a piece of paper and I'm writing things down because I want to be prepared for you. But it was interesting to me just as a coach watching the dynamics and again, not knowing this team like the ones I covered with the Lakers. But LeBron took the 6th most shots in the game last night. There was Luca, there was AR, there was Rui, and it just went down. I don't have the napkin that I was writing it on, but LeBron was 6. He only took, I believe, seven shots, and they scored 140 points.
So speaking of that, I would like you to take a moment to speak to some of the upcoming athletes on the importance of still leaving an impact on the game, even though you may not be offensively aggressive by shooting the shot like LeBron was. Like, how important is that to a team?
Well, 2 different things. There's guys that can't score. So what do you do? What Dennis Rodman, right? If you think Chicago Bulls, he made millions and millions upon millions of dollars rebounding. Not everybody can shoot the ball. We talked about Kobe eats first, Pau eats second, Andrew Bynum got the scraps. If you can't deal with that, then move on.
Right.
And don't let the door don't let the door hit you on the ass. Right? And so there's some guys that can't shoot. So what do? You find a way to impact the practice. You have to impact the practice to be able to buy time to get some run. And then when you get some run, you have to make the most out of it. Now, for guys that are out there that can score, and that do like to shoot the ball, you're having an off night. You got to give up something and then say, well, you know what? We're going to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you got to give up 10 shots. And then you I'm not on tonight on offense, but I'm going to drop some dimes. And it wasn't that LeBron wasn't on last night.
Right.
He just went in facilitator mode. It showed that he knows how to play the right way. LeBron showed that he knows that he's a willing passer. He's a skilled passer. And he gets excited getting other guys going. He knows when it comes to crunch time and you need a bucket, he's going to get you a bucket.
Yeah.
He's going to improve. This team had 140 total points. They had 74 points in the paint.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not subscribing to that because other teams are going to shoot threes. And if you shoot a three and we shoot twos, who wins the game?
I mean,
you win the game.
Simple mathematics.
Right, simple mathematics.
Right.
You got to watch it. I got a phone somewhere. But yeah, simple mathematics. So they've got to have a happy medium right now, but 74 points in the paint.
Yeah.
That's because LeBron, Luca, and AR can get to the paint downhill. When you get to the paint downhill, it's the finish. When you get to the paint downhill, it's the float game. When you get to the paint downhill, it's to draw multiple defenders and now to have your head on a swivel and spray it out to open shooters.
And speaking of multiple defenders, there was a moment in the game in year 23, LeBron James is drawing 3 defenders. Like, how was it like watching that in the arena, seeing him at this age and at this year of his career, still drawing 3 defenders? Well, how was it like seeing that in person?
He's the all-time leading scorer. All-time leading scorer. And when you look at him, man, he's like a Mack truck. He looked a little bit thicker to me, and not in a bad way.
Okay.
But when I posted a video, because you can follow, and I hope that you all follow.
That's right.
Benched _MBA, and then that's on Instagram, and then on the podcast, Bench-MBA.
That's right.
And I'll tell you what, if you want to see some videos, not just of basketball, I mean, were you in the Wonder Years?
Yes, I was.
I saw you with the Wonder Years.
Yeah.
Then I saw something where you had a samurai sword.
Oh, yeah, I was on tour with Wu-Tang. Yeah. I
Like
know a lot.
the
Maldonado is everywhere. He's everywhere. Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm seeing stuff and I'm like going, he got a sword. If you remember the first episode, this is episode 5, he had guns. I pulled this T-shirt out from Springfield College where I attended just because it's a small, because I wanted to have some guns out here.
Flexing, coach.
Because you come in wearing those XL shirts and there's you got guns. But no, it was just an exciting night to see LeBron, but it was exciting to see this team play for each other. I mentioned about when Vando took the ball from, got the ball and the ref tried to get it, and they all came up to get that ball for a Thero. That I told you in episode 4. That showed me that this team is connected. There's a connectivity. This team likes each other. Okay. I watch the bench. I watch everything. I watch when guys come out. Did they dap everybody up or did they blow by the coaches? This team has great chemistry, and they're just touching the surface of the culture. Okay, in year number 2, right? So you're year number 1, first season, and now JJ's at 15 games in. Yeah. This is a work in progress, and I really think JJ Redick is going to go down as one of the really, really great coaches in this league eventually.
Okay, so with LeBron back, what's your early season predictions of the season? Now that you've got a little taste of LeBron, where you see, I mean, we spoke about it before as being top 5, but now that LeBron is back, what do you think of the team overall?
I'm gonna take you through the coaching mind, and I love the questions you ask as a coach. Right now, it really goes back to what I said, but I'm not even looking at that right now. I'm looking about how do we get this team to play harder on defense? Gotcha. How do we get this team to talk on defense every single possession? How do we get Dalton Connect to be able to get in? And he's come in and play better. LaRavia, I think, had, gosh, I just feel bad when I throw these numbers out, but did he have 26 points? I know that sounds loud, but look, Jake LaRavia played unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable. And that was because of LeBron. I mentioned Ayton.
Wide open
okay.
looks.
Okay. I mentioned Ayton, but now you got LaRavia that benefited from him because they just draw so much attention. So now you're trying to look out there and Rui had a good game. Not a great game. Rui had a good game. Marcus Smart, all these guys that you have, you're trying to find minutes because now with LeBron back, minutes are going down. LeBron is going to take those minutes. And what I'm thinking, you'd like to have an 8-man rotation, but that's not realistic.
Right.
You're going to have a 9-man rotation. If I had to guess, a 9, maybe 10 on any given night, depending on how the game goes. But you got a 9-man rotation, and now you got to fit the pieces together.
Yeah.
So, that's what the exhibition season is for. But that wasn't a good exhibition season in terms of finding the personnel that work together.
Right.
So now it was like LeBron had his own personal training camp, elevated to the G League workouts, and then came in for this game.
And as you, again, speaking of camps, there was a moment where Aiden spoke about the lob that he received in the game, it being the second lob that he received from him, being that he received one in the AAU camp as he was a kid. Like, are there any special moments with players that may have been in your camps or just in your programs where it's like, man, you shared a moment that now they're in the league, you get to share another moment?
Well, yeah, like DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton was at the Pangos All-American camp that I used to be a huge part of in terms of the player development.
Okay.
Dinos Trigonis would run the games, and they were the best. When the Pangos camp was running, it was not just the best players in America. He was getting the best players from overseas to come over. And it was by invite only. And I think I told you the story. We may even said it on air. I saw DeAndre Ayton play. And the minute I got off the phone, man, I called 3 of my favorite head coaches and said, he's the real deal. He was the real deal.
Yeah.
Another one, shout out Trae Young, who, I think he was, I don't know if he was in 9th or 10th grade, but I had him in some drills before they started playing. And before, I can't remember where my son was at. My son may have been at the University of Alabama coaching with Avery Johnson.
Okay.
The drill ended. They're getting ready to start the games. And I'm on my phone in I had a gray Pango shirt on, and it was sweat down to the bottom, right? I mean, these were working. Well, it was skill workouts. So you're trying to put, for the scouts that are there, you're trying to put it, and I'm looking at Trae Young, and I'm going, man, I see he's an NBA player.
Wow.
And
in
I was
9th
or 10th grade.
Wow.
And I'm on the phone, and I had never seen him before. I mean, I'm literally doing a skills session. I don't even know his name.
Wow.
And I see him. So I immediately call my son and I'm like, hey, man, there's this kid, Trae Young. And he goes, is that the kid from Norman, Oklahoma? And I'm like, damn. I'm like, damn. Because I'm like, you got to recruit him, but he ain't leaving Norman, Oklahoma.
Really? Why do you say that?
Well, because that's where OU was. He was going to Oklahoma.
Got
you got to recruit your backyard.
Got you.
You can't let, I've always said this. There was only one coach I feared in my 2 decades of college coaching and recruiting. Okay. Jim Calhoun from UConn.
Oh, Jim.
The Jim.
Jimmy was on you.
Yeah. Well, Jim could go into any state, and his staff, he had a great staff.
Yeah.
They could go into any state and take the best player out of the state.
Wow.
I don't know how, and I don't know why. Norm Stewart, that coached at Missouri.
Yeah.
He could go into a lot of places in the Midwest, and if they said Norm Stewart was recruiting a kid, and I think his assistant's name was Rich Daly. Okay. Yeah. And I knew they were recruiting him. It's like high stake poker.
Wow.
I pull out. Going to the next kid, because there's certain people you
don't bet against.
Yeah, like Sam Clancy. Everybody in the world was after Sam Clancy, but I knew one thing that nobody else knew.
I'm always.
Oh wait, you got to know. You got to ask what I knew.
What you knew?
He wanted warm weather, and we were the only warm weather school. I mean, Cincinnati had it going on. I mean, why would the best player, or arguably one of the top 2 players in the state of Ohio, come to USC when it wasn't a basketball school? He was the one that helped us build that Elite 8 run. He wanted warm weather. So like here where when you're a recruiter, I want to ask, I'm like you. I want to ask the question, and I want you to talk because I'm trying to find out. He said, I'm tired of the cold. So I knew we had it. His official visit, we walked down from my house to the beach, took a picture with him. And this had to be in October, November. Buddy of mine was surfing, took a picture of him holding a surfboard. Here's a kid from St. Edward's High School.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful day. You know, one of those days that the reason we live here.
Yeah.
And I knew we had him.
Cali at his best.
I knew we had him. He committed to us at the Kettle, the little restaurant at the Kettle.
Yeah.
He recruited before Henry Bibby, the head coach, showed up for the breakfast after we went down for our walk. And I said, I've heard this before. You know, you're on vacation. This is the best vacation. Next vacation, I said, I've had so many kids commit the minute we take them to Venice Beach after the plane lands. They land. You put them in the Ritz-Carlton on Admiralty Way, and then you take them to Venice Beach, and that starts your 48-hour thing. I said, if you really are going to commit, I said, let's call the other 4 schools and cancel your other 4 home visits, school visits, campus visits. We were the first one. He said, you got your phone on you? We called the other 4 schools, and he canceled his visits.
Come on, Coach. That's how you do it.
Give me another come on.
Listen, come on, Coach.
That gets me going.
All right, so getting back to the Lakers, we got a couple of games off before our next game. What do you say to your team to keep them ready, although they got a couple of days rest before the next game?
You know what's funny? You don't have to keep pros ready.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that sound crazy?
Yeah.
You have to correct it. You know, if you have to keep a pro ready, you might have the wrong pro. No, think about that.
True.
And I think we have to tell the truth. That's the one thing that I like about Bench. You know, we have fun at the end with our bench segment that everyone. So many people came up to me and said they got a kick out of both of our takes on who we're benching.
Yeah.
But if you got to get a guy ready, if you got to motivate a guy, I don't like coaches that motivate. How did I say I was going to motivate you to take an open shot?
Oh, you gonna
if you didn't shoot it,
you gonna sit me down.
I'm gonna sit you down, and somebody on the bench wants to shoot. So listen. You're going to it's early. You're only 15 games in. We're not talking when you get in the winter months when some of the weeks you practice once or twice.
Right.
You don't have time to practice. Okay? And if you're banged up, you're certainly not practicing. But right now, they ought to be chomping at the bit. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know how JJ runs his ship because I'm not there every day, but you might have brought gave some guys off. And you know what? What's great? It's not an equal opportunity job.
Right.
There's some guys that don't have to come. There's some teams that don't have some stars come to the shoot around.
Yeah.
They'd rather have him at here's what a star, and I don't like this, but a star can say, even if he comes and goes half speed, you can have me at shoot around, or you can have me tonight when the scoreboard's on. You know, I mean, there's some dudes that are like that and have been like that, and I'm not going to name names on that. But I will tell you this. The practices have to be fierce and competitive, and especially guys that aren't getting run. If you're not getting run, if you didn't get the minutes you wanted, and the truth part of it is, I'm not going to dog the Jazz because they see them on Saturday, right? But here's the deal. It was a good team to have LeBron come back to. As opposed to saying Oklahoma City, where now he's got to take it to another level. And do you get hurt? Do you re-injure something? You know, did you come back too early? Does that fire up something in the legs? And there's some truth to that. And you know what? Hopefully that never happens, right? That never happens to any player. But this was a good test because what I like about the Jazz is that everything the Lakers are sketchy on defensively, the Jazz tested them and it exposed it. So you should have a lot of film work this week. Yeah. But guys that aren't playing minutes, LeBron's back. You're not getting more minutes.
So see, that's a great segue to get to our the best segment of our show, which is bench, because we talking to those bench players to step it up in practice over these next couple of games. So, Coach, I'm gonna let you go first. Who you benching this week?
Well, it's simple. I'm going to go with benching all, whether it's fans, whether it's Laker fans. I'm benching all the people that were betting, and a lot were hoping that LeBron James was going to mess up the chemistry, that crazy. LeBron James wasn't going to be able to fit. LeBron James. He knows how to play the game of basketball.
Talk to him, Coach.
14 games, he watched every game. 14 games, he figured out what this person does well, what that person does better, and he went into that game a willing passer, a wanting passer, a skilled passer. He went in there passive in the sense that he didn't have to hunt for his shots. That first shot he hit was a flare screen, and it got everybody excited. And then he was vocal, he was a leader, and he brought a lot of joy. So for all the haters out there that drink that haterade, you got benched, you got played, and LeBron James came in there and was a catalyst to make other guys better on the floor, Alan.
King James.
Who are you benching?
It's gonna be simple this week, man. It's rather a collective that I'm benching. I saw this moment on the way here. Jared Allen posterize Sengun, and the ref called it an offensive foul. I'm benching all the refs out there that call offensive fouls on dunks. Like, it's a long history of jams that we can't count. We can't put it on the poster because the ref want to be a ref and call up. Like, people get hit in the face every day. He be all right. Like, I see he almost had a concussion, but it's all right. You walk that off and you keep the poster. So all the refs out there that's killing all of the highlights, you benched.
I didn't want to break up your bench, but I got a problem when you talked about he gave him a concussion and you don't want him to call the foul.
I mean, it's all right. Like, he all right. He got up. Like, he got up. It was fine.
And where are you at, if I can ask, where are you at where people are getting hit in the face all the time?
What do you mean? As a fan, like, the refs can't just take away my joy like that. Like, now I can't even rewatch it because, like, oh, he called offensive, but he still got dunked on.
I don't like refs, but you know they get evaluated.
Yeah, they evaluate that whole rule in the NBA. If you get posterized, it's got to count, man. And if they want to call the offensive count, it's 3 points. Like, we got to change some rules around here, man. Like, we got to change it, coach. That's what I'm lobbying for. I'm on the refs.
What episode is this?
Episode 5. Hey, everybody out there, please follow and subscribe. Benched _R-MBA on every social media you can find. Look us up, watch us, subscribe, follow. Peace, y'all.
We need some sponsors. I need stat sheets.